It's Harlan Kilstein here, and I looked at the list of people who have signed up to be here, and frankly, I'm just blown away by the caliber of the people. I see people that I need to get in touch with. Dr. Edie, I've gotten out of touch with you, and boy, I need to get in touch with you again. Mark, good to see you again after a long, long time. Um, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to kind of shortcut here to the end, that um, I went to Israel last December. And when I went to Israel last December, I met with Barry, and he explained what he was doing, and I was pretty much stunned. Today, I am actually working on I was actually in the middle of a sales letter for someone who used Barry's techniques that he's going to share with you to build a multi-million-dollar business. And basically, what he did was find someone who had material. It just so happens that this person's material is in Serbia, and his materials have never been circulated, never really been translated, never been widely spread, and the guy doesn't know how to do it. And he built an entire business on someone else's material. So I want you to know that it's being done. Now, as I mentioned in the email today, many of you are familiar, and just to see, whatever, if you can just type in if you've heard of them. How many people here have heard of Mindvalley? Mindvalley Publishing. Just show of hands. How many people have heard of Mindvalley? Okay. Some yeses, some nos. A lot of no's. I'm surprised. Okay. So Mindvalley, again, is a multi-million-dollar company, and what their specialty is finding people who have products, but they don't know how to sell them, or their products are under-recognized. And they have a procedure where they go and they search for these products, and sometimes their products are already on iTunes, selling for like $1.99, and they take this stuff and repackage it and sell it for hundreds of dollars. Okay, so are they creating original content? Absolutely not. But is there a process that works? Absolutely yes. So this is something that I'm doing. Now, my goal, personally, using this method, is to become the Mindvalley of the dog training niche. And I found people out there who have materials, but they don't know how to use them. They don't know what to do with them. I've got a guy who's got 2 DVDs. They're actually right here next to me now during this webinar. And he has 2 DVDs. They're quite good on dog training. However, he does not know how to market them. He only sells them to people who come into his center and buy them. So that means that, you know, if he sells a couple of hundred a year, he's happy. With the list that I have, my expectation is to sell a couple of hundred a week, and I don't have to create the content. So what I'm going to ask Barry to do is I'm going to ask him to go through this rather slowly so that everybody gets an idea of how this works. That's the most important thing. And then decide if at the end you'd like some additional training in this. But I'm going to tell you that if you pay attention, you're going to be stunned by the simplicity of this and how well it works. So I'm going to be here listening in, perfecting my thing, but I want you to know this is something that I am personally using, and it's been used by others with fantastic success. And by the way, for those of you who don't, I talked about Mindvalley. They are a multi-million-dollar company with non-stop million-dollar launches. I don't know if they're doing 20 or 30 million a year, but essentially this is the method that they are using. So please pay attention to my friend Barry Plasko, who's going to show you step by step how this method works.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harlan Kilstein. I appreciate a very kind introduction. If you can hear me clearly in the chat box, if you can just confirm that you can hear me clearly. Let's wait for everyone to just give me a yes just to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, perfect. So let's get started then. And just a disclaimer, there's no such thing as automatic systems of making money without having to do anything. There's no guarantees of success with any strategy. Most businesses we know don't succeed for all manner of reasons, but just to be absolutely clear about this. Okay, in saying that, what I'm going to share with you is something very special, because this really is a simple strategy. Now, we all know Amazon.com. I'm going to show you today, during today's strategy, how Amazon is ready and willing to provide you with a huge buyer's list, your own high-end product, a six-figure business, practically on a silver platter. I'm going to show you exactly what is the connection between this strategy and Amazon. That's coming up. And you're going to be doing this by leveraging experts on Amazon. I'm going to share with you, as Dr. Kilstein said, in just a few moments exactly how you're going to do that. But today's training is designed to help everyone here to build a huge buyer's list, an even bigger prospect list, to build a high-end product fast without you actually having to do anything, make sales within a week, and I mean high-end sales within a week, scale up without having to spend money on the process, become a central player in any market that you choose to enter, and to start making at least $1,000 a day. Now, I don't expect or need you to have an existing list. I don't expect you to have a product or any idea how to build a product. I don't expect you to have any previous experience or success online, and I don't expect you to have any sort of marketing asset at your disposal. I'm presuming we're starting from scratch. Guys, does that sound good to you? Would you like to learn how you could get on a silver platter a high-end list that's going to know, like, and trust you, a buyer's list, and start making high-end sales and have it all given to you practically on a silver platter? Does that sound interesting? All right, I like it, I like it. So let's go. Okay, I'm going to share with you how to do it, but let me just briefly share with you before I get into that what you need to build a successful business online. Now, don't worry about these 4 things that you need, because most people in a lifetime don't achieve these 4 things, and that's why most people never succeed in building a hugely successful 6- or 7-figure business. However, I'm going to show you how you can achieve these 4 things literally on a silver platter. That's coming up in just a moment. Here are the 4 steps. Here are the 4 things that you need for success. Number 1, if you want to build an online business, you need to have a hyper-engaged list of people that know, like, and trust you. And we know the issue with that is it can take years to build, but you want to have a hyper-engaged, high-end list. But you need more than that. You also need to have products to sell, and it's a lot better to sell high-end product than low-end product. If your goal was a simple
I had that exact discussion today with someone who's on the call, and we were talking, I was convincing her not to sell something for $9.95.
Absolutely. I started there, and you have no idea what a headache it is. If you want to make, a basic $1,000 a day, which is not a huge amount of money by any stretch of the imagination, but you would have to make 100 sales a day. That's quite something. But if you had a product that you could sell at $500 or $1,000, you make 1 or 2 sales a day, nothing in that at all. it's obviously going to be a lot easier. So number one, you want to have a list. You also want to have high-end product to sell to that list. Number three, you need a way to sell those products to your list. But the problem with that, of course, is that most people don't enjoy selling. So you need to find a way to make sales without actually selling, because people don't like to sell. I'm sure quite possibly that you may not enjoy the process or may not be very successful at selling. And the fourth thing is, once you've got initial sales, is obviously you want to scale up your business. That's especially true if you want your $1,000 a day to last for a long, long time. You better learn how to scale up. Now, the truth is, most newbies and most people trying to build a business have a very hard time, because it's hard generating a large buyers list. It's not something that you just, you have to create a relationship. You need to make sales. You need to build a relationship and a loving, knowing, trusting relationship with your list. Most people haven't got a clue in a lifetime how to build a high-end product that sells at high dollar, that people love to buy and want to buy more of and are desperate to buy. The third element is, most people, even if they had that product, which in a lifetime most people never achieve, is they have no clue, even if they had it, how to sell it. And that's before we even start thinking about scaling up. So the hurdles that most people have to overcome in order to be successful online are enormous. Now, just be honest for a second. Who admits that they're lacking one of these four things? Who here admits that they're lacking a large engaged buyers list of people that love buying from them, who accepts and agrees that they may not have a high-end product to sell, who admits they may not be very good or may not like selling, and who actually agrees, at least, even if they got one at the top with all three, they don't really have a way to scale up to turn their $1,000 a day into a huge business, right? Give me yes in the chat box if you're missing one of those four things. Let's just see what we got here. Of course, everyone's giving me yes, 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 yes. I don't think anyone here has managed to achieve all four. Okay, so now we're left with a decision to make. There are two options. Option number one is you could spend the rest of your life learning how to build a high-end list, a responsive list at that, and treat it like gold, and spend a huge amount of time developing that. You can take the rest of your life then to figure out how to sell a high-end product, create a high-end product and sell it, and learn techniques to scale up. Now that's a life's enterprise, but you do have a choice, because option number two, you could choose a second option. You could save yourself time, energy, money, aggravation, and get them all delivered to you on a silver platter from someone who has spent their lifetime developing those assets and would do anything to team up with you. That's what we're talking about. The choice is really either you learn and take it on as a life pursuit to learn those four elements, or I could share with you what I call my silver platter marketing technique. Now, I know which one I chose when I got started, and I know which ones my students do, and I've seen the results that it generates. But that's what I call a silver platter marketing technique. Now, it's extremely simple, and I want to give you a vivid example of what I'm talking about, okay? This is what I mean by a silver platter. And you have the choice, and by the end of today's strategy, you will know how to receive those marketing assets on a silver platter. And you would never seen anything like it. It's the strategy I shared with Hana when he came over to visit me to discuss this, that he's using in his business. It's the strategy I've shared with top marketers, but more importantly than that, I've shared it with people that have never succeeded in their life and have been able to go ahead with receiving these assets on a silver platter and build significant businesses fast. Okay? You will never see, I don't think, an easier strategy than the one I'm about to share with you today. So let me give you a vivid example, and we can get into the meat and potatoes of this strategy. Here's Wally. Wally had no previous success with internet marketing. He hated his job, wanted to leave his job, and has tried internet marketing for quite some time. So he wanted to leave his job that he was working for. The issue with Wally is that he didn't have a list, he didn't have a product, he didn't have any of the big four that I mentioned before. So as a result, obviously, he wasn't going to make the money that he wanted. But this is what he did following my advice. He sought one of millions upon millions of frustrated authors on Amazon.com. And by the way, it doesn't just have to be Amazon.com, but I'm using Amazon because that's where you could find and close a life-changing deal in the next 24 hours. Okay, and I've seen it happen. I've seen people actually close deals on this particular webinar I'm sharing with you today. Anyway, he found an expert. I shared with him how I gave him an email that he should send out to these experts. They wrote back to him, and the experts wanted to work with Wally. I'm going to share with you later how he did it, but they wanted to work with him based on the strategy I'm going to share with you a little bit later on. That expert has written a bunch of books in day trading, has a huge following in social media, already has pre-built a $5,000 coaching program, but doesn't know how to sell it. So he's got every asset that Wally would love to have. He has an engaged list of followers that know, like, and trust him and love him. He has a product to sell. He has a list to sell it to, and he hasn't got a clue what to do with it all. And here comes Wally and offers his assistance. The result, and what he says it himself, is that he secured his client within a few days, agreed to a 50-50 revenue split. Wally was extremely generous. Even though the expert was about to do 98 or 99% of the work, Wally was generous and gave away 50% of the pie. Harlan, I know you work generally, and I most times in these deals give away no more than 10% of the deal. But let's just, let's just follow the story of Wally. He gave away 50% of the deal, and this is what happened. He closes a deal with the day trading expert by sending out our email. He recommended to the expert that the expert should actually tell his list about the product that he had created, and Wally shared with him how he could make sales of that product easily. I'm going to share that with you as well in the next couple of minutes. And the expert again was delighted that Wally agreed to give him 50% of the profits from the sales that he was about to make to his own list. Now, bad news about Wally is that Wally didn't really follow anything I told him, made a whole ton of mistakes, and was a little bit upset that at the end he only pocketed $16,000, which is about $15,900 more dollars than he had ever achieved in about the last 5 years previous to trying this strategy. So, I mean, who here wouldn't mind taking $16,000 for a failed evening? All right, so obviously Wally's perfected it thereafter, but that's how he started this entire process. Now, as I said before, I call this silver platter marketing because Wally didn't have to spend years cultivating, building a buyer's list. He simply inherited it from the expert. They teamed up together. He didn't need to spend years developing an expertise and a product around that expertise. He just teamed up with someone that's already got it. He didn't have to come up with a sales strategy in order to sell the high-end product that he inherited. He simply followed a template that I'm going to share with you today. Harlan, I mean, you know this strategy. I'm going to get into this in detail, but is there anything easier than the silver platter strategy that Wally used, that many of my other students have used, and that you've been using in the dog industry?
I was just surprised that when I did it, how easy it was to get people to agree.
It's a joke.
I was afraid that, people were going to say no. I was afraid that people weren't going to be happy with what they were ordered. And it was far easier than I ever expected.
And there's a reason for it, because most authors are published and they get the worst deals ever. They've been conditioned for bad deals. So when you offer them, I know you're usually giving 10%. I usually give 10%. My students starting out were giving 30, 40, 50% like what he did. For them, that's, wow, you're going to make all these sales for me and I don't have to do, I'm going to get 50% of the profits. That's something extraordinary for them. Anyway, now, if you think inheriting on a silver platter a large list, high-end product, ability to make high-end sales is interesting, well, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can entice experts. When I use the word entice, I mean it. I mean it that it's not just going to be easy. They're going to be flocking to want to work with you. You're going to have the ability to choose who you want to work with. Right? And I mean that. And this is where we sort of are transformed characters, because when we start out, we're looking to make money, and we sometimes are a little bit desperate to do so. But I'm giving you a strategy that is so powerful. You can practically mess this up. You'll have experts clamoring, wanting to work with you. And my students are choosing who they work with. They can't believe, as people that have enjoyed practically no success ever, how they suddenly have the ability to choose the expert they want to work with. And you know how they're choosing them? On a couple of criteria. Who's got the biggest list? Who's got the most assets? And who they might have more fun with. So we're talking about a simple strategy that allows you to take complete control. So I'm going to show you how to entice experts to work with you, to share with you all of their marketing assets that would probably take a lifetime to build, whilst you take 50 to 90% of the profits, and they will be delighted about the deal that you will make with them. Before I get there, I do have to make a call out to Joe. Joe is the guy that actually taught me this strategy, because he came to me in desperate trouble. He's a brother-in-law of a dear friend of mine. He was $500,000 in debt from a business activity that went horribly wrong. He had little English, needed to obviously make money extremely quickly, but he had absolutely no marketing assets to his name. He was a complete failure. Now that's a pretty bad combination. So I had to figure out a way that I could compensate all these things that he didn't have and somehow get him to inherit them on a silver platter. So this is what I did. I devised a strategy that worked for him, and that's when I brought it to my students, and it's just worked ever since like crazy. So he reached out to some experts on Amazon. Here's Sarah. Now, Sarah's a prolific writer of books in the marriage industry. She helps people save their marriage. She has a huge buyers list of people that have purchased books and Kindle books and goodness knows what other types of materials online. She writes blogs, and she has a large following. But she's an expert, and despite the fact she's sold a lot of books, she has absolutely no clue how to turn that list into money. No clue whatsoever. So here comes along Joe, sends out my email again, and she responded because that email was extremely enticing, and they got together. Now, he sent out that email telling her that he'll be very happy to help her make a lot of money from her marketing assets, and Sarah agreed to basically give up everything that she has. She sent emails upon emails upon emails to that list into the funnel. I'm going to share with you exactly what it was in a few moments, and was delighted at the end of it that she was picking up 10% of profits of a product she created to a list that she had cultivated for years, that Joe was able to benefit from just like that. Now, that was obviously a game-changing moment in Joe's life. He made over $10,000 in that first month, last time we spoke, and I've actually lost touch with him because he's too busy making money actually to talk to anyone about it. But the last time I checked in hard, it was over $70,000 he made that month. It was getting bigger every single month. He had a nice list of over 34,000, and he's just trading using my strategy all day long with all kinds of different other experts, expanding his business. They do all the work. He perhaps does 1 to 2% of the work, and he's collecting 90% of the profits. Okay, so he's a pretty happy character right now, and I can tell you what, his investors who thought they'd lost $500,000 are pretty happy with him as well. And based on that, I was able to build, I think, what is the easiest marketing system ever. Based on what I saw with Joe, I thought if Joe could do this with no English, with no marketing assets to his name, and he didn't even do the work, he didn't speak English, he got a secretary, he outsourced everything to someone who knows nothing about marketing. They made more mistakes. It was almost like an Elvis Costello move. It was a joke what they were doing, mistakes galore, and they came out the other side and making, nearly building a 7-figure business. Guys, is that exciting? If I could show you how you too could entice experts to give up their life's marketing assets they have no clue the value of, and you'll be able to show them the value of it. And you can turn that into gold dust for them, whilst you can take 50 to 90% of the profits. Is that something that's exciting to you? So I want to make sure we're on the same wavelength here, because I can share with you exactly how you can do it. So I want to see you gauge your, if that makes sense. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Excellent. So let's get into this. So let me show you where you're going to find millions of experts. I'm going to show you how to close a deal in the next 24 hours. I had people close deals on this webinar. When I did this to my internal list, I had people closing deals on the actual webinar. I'm going to show you one of them in a few moments. I'm also going to show you how to convert the huge marketing assets that these people have into online gold, and it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and you're going to do about 1% of the work. Okay, this is where you're about to transform your marketing career. Amazon.com. Now, why is Amazon so cool, and why is it where everything begins? Well, there are so many authors on Amazon.com that are clearly experts in their field. They own incredibly untapped marketing assets, such as email list followings in social media, blogs with tremendous readership. They've got content. Many have programs and potential coaching programs that are just ready to go, but they don't know how to sell them. That's why Amazon is a gold mine. It's not the only gold mine, but I'm going to use that as the example for this presentation because it is the lowest hanging fruit. Let me give an example of someone on Amazon.com, and I'd like to thank Renat, who's one of my students, that very kindly before this presentation allow me to share this example of someone that he's working on. This is Dr. Shefali Tsabary. Now, Dr. Shefali is an expert in parenting. She's written books. You can see by the customer reviews in the top right-hand corner that she's got quite a following. All right, that's pretty clear just from the amount of people that are reading and commenting on her books. Now, you go to her website, and you can see that she's trying to create a coaching program. The problem is Dr. Shefali hasn't got a clue how to sell it. She just has a blurb on her website and hopes that people are going to contact her through those means. So let's just add one and one together. She's got a following. She's already got a program in place, but she's probably not selling it very well. Let's go one step further. Dr. Shefali's got a tremendous following in social media as well. In Twitter, it's nearly 12,000 followers, as you can see in the middle of that page. In Facebook, she's got over 35,000 likes. So she's got one heck of a following. She's an author. She's got expertise. She's got products ready to go. And Renat's discovered she hasn't touched the surface. She has no clue how to market them. So you add these things together. A large following. She's got something to sell. She's got a high-end program to sell. So my question to you is, how would you like to be able to team up and entice someone like a Dr. Tsabary to work with you, to want to work with you, so that you could leverage and you could share in all of that marketing, all those marketing assets that took her a lifetime to build up? And what if she had to do 99% of the work in order for this to succeed, and you were to pick up at least 50% of the profits? Guys, does this sound absolutely unbelievable to you? Are you getting this? Give me yes in the chat box if you're understanding where we're going with this, how Amazon has just got millions of these types of experts, and they literally are millions, who have marketing assets, no clue how to market, and we are about to receive their lifetime's marketing assets on a silver platter. Okay, I think you guys are getting it. The thing is, these authors are in practically any niche. In fact, they're in any niche that you want. They're there. So your only decision is, which market would you like to team up with an expert and become a leader in? And that's why this is so, so powerful. when you start experiencing the light bulb moment, and at this point I can already see some people are, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, Nancy's saying this is exactly what I've been wondering about. It's brilliant. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So here's how my beginner students close deals in any market they choose to enter, and have experts happily open up to them their marketing assets. And I don't know of any other strategy that can create overnight mass success, literally turn a lifetime of marketing assets into your possession overnight. I don't know anything else that quite can do anything like this. But this is what you do. I'm going to give it to you straight out. It's very simple. You choose a niche that you want to work with. Okay, choose whatever it is. In fact, guys, start thinking about this now. Do you have a niche that you would absolutely love to build a high-end list in, make high-end sales, have people fall in love with you, and have it all given to you on a silver platter? Throw out niches that you would absolutely would love to be able to conquer. Let's see what you guys got in mind. Throw them out to me. Let me share with you, because I want you to start thinking about it's doable, not just doable, but it's in your pocket today. I'm telling you right now, it's in your pocket right now. Mandy, running, fitness, that's fantastic. It's a huge market. I've got students doing this in those types of markets. Great. Brian, diets, fantastic. Cigars, food, lifestyles, that stuff's unbelievable. People spend money on that kind of stuff. Okay, lots of different ideas coming in. Self-defense, terrific. Let me introduce you to a very angry student. Okay, I slightly changed his family name because I don't want to embarrass him. Just to be absolutely honest about it. So this is him. This is my student, but that family name has been altered slightly. Anyway, Ivan is my angry student. Why is he angry? Well, Ivan was angry because after our first training session that we did together, he failed to close a deal with a huge author. And he was upset because other members of the group were closing deals. He was seeing them talk about what they saw as 6- and 7-figure businesses lighting up in front of their eyes, and he was angry. He actually was angry for a silly reason, because what he didn't realize is he didn't follow instructions. And the instructions he got was as soon as he had experts reach back to him, and invariably they do reach back to you with our enticing funnel that we built for you, he was meant to reach out to me if he was having problems so I could help him close the deal. So he got angry, and I actually had him on a live Q&A session with my best clients that were making and starting to build 6- and 7-figure businesses from scratch. And he gets angry. I said, Ivan, hold it. Did you get responses? Yes. How many experts have responded to you? He said 1 in 3. I said, Ivan, what's your problem? Why haven't you closed the deal? He says, because I don't know. I'm set up a call like you told me to, but I don't know how to close them. I said, Ivan, why didn't you invite me? He says, I didn't know that that's part of what we do. I said, of course that's what we're going to do. I'm here to change lives. Anyway, he made a big mistake. He didn't reach out to me, didn't listen to the instructions, got all upset. Well, we got on that call, and we just closed a mega deal. And angry Ivan is now very happy Ivan. Now listen to this, Harlan, because this will actually make you a little bit envious, as it made me envious. He closed a deal, and I helped him with a guy in the diabetes industry who sold over 500,000 digital products showing people how to get rid of their diabetes. This guy has access to affiliates of his digital product. He has absolutely no clue. He didn't realize that that list he could use to sell other products, and could create other products, and could do all kinds of other things. A list of 500,000 people. So everyone please cry a very large tear for Ivan that had to wait an extra week to close a deal with a guy with an asset of over 500,000 buyers in the diabetes industry. Harlan, are you crying?
I'm not crying. I just think it can be done.
Can be done. This guy lives in Bulgaria. Okay, I just want to be clear about this. I'm not talking about, I'm not sure where that picture is taken, by the way, but this guy, he doesn't speak English as a mother tongue. He's very unconfident. And this expert in the diabetes niche is jumping up and down, that someone is finally going to help him turn his 500,000 client base into extra funds. Okay, if you think that's extraordinary, these are daily activities in my life right now that I'm seeing things like this. Anyway, that's a bit of a close-up of Ivan now. So I'm sure you're not feeling too sorry for Ivan and the fact that he had to wait a few extra days to close that kind of deal. But that's what it's all about. So he's working with a leading expert. He's got all the traffic he'll ever need for the rest of his life. He's got all the products he'll ever need to sell. He's got an expert that's just, he's an absolute phenomenon in his industry. And guess what? The expert is picking up, and Ivan's rather kind. Angry Ivan, who's now happy Ivan, is giving up 33% of the sales. Do you think, Harlan, you could actually give up 33% of sales if you were working with a guy with a buyer's list of 500,000 people? Do you think you could live with that?
I'm there.
Okay, it's ridiculous. These just are absolutely ridiculous. So you're probably asking, what does Wally, Joe, Ivan, and other complete beginners with everything against them? We're talking about people that Joe's not a fluent English speaker, Ivan's Bulgarian. What do all these guys have in common when it comes to getting these experts to open up their business assets to them, just practically guaranteeing that, like, 6 figures? I mean, I don't want to make it sound too much, but I mean, these guys are saying this is a 6-7 figure business staring at them in the eyes. And these are recent events that are taking place to me on a daily basis. What did they do to entice
let me tell you what I did, and maybe this will help people, and tell me whether it sounds familiar. First of all, number one is everybody should be familiar with the Alexa button. The Alexa button installs into your browser. It's put out by Amazon, and it gives you an indication of traffic going to a site. So the lowest possible number would be number 1. That would be the site with the most traffic on the internet. And it's typically, it bounces. Sometimes it's Facebook, sometimes it's YouTube. Between Facebook, YouTube, and Google, you have 1, 2, and 3 right there. And what I typically do is I find an author that I like on Amazon, and I want to see what they have, what else they have, and I'll see if they have a website. If they don't have a website, I know things are going to be even easier. If they do have a website, the first thing I want to see is how much traffic they have going to the website. I want to see if they have a list. I'm looking for these things, but I'm looking for somebody who's been around for a while, has a pretty passionate following, lots of good reviews, but is doing an incredibly poor job of marketing themselves outside of their books on Amazon. That is someone that makes me pay attention. So that's my initial process for finding someone who's got a following, someone people like, and you can just pick any niche at all. There's someone who I admire very much, and she's in the meditation niche, and she just keeps putting out these books, but she doesn't. I called her, I spoke to her on the phone. It was easy to get to on the phone, and I said, would you like to do a webinar? And of course, I had to explain what a webinar was. She didn't even realize that people would pay for her content to put together a mini course. She was so thankful that she was going to get this, and she has passionate fans. It's amazing how easy this is. Does that sound like something you do?
Well, to be honest, I think it's a great idea, but I think I've dumbed it up even more than that. I mean, that's killer. But that's like if you really want to take it, and actually invest some time in this, you could do that. I've got something I think is a lot easier, and I'll tell you why, because you don't actually have to think. And I like strategies where they actually work when you're not thinking, and you're just, you're not really focusing what you're doing. Perhaps I'll share that with everyone. Is that okay, Harlan?
Sure.
All right. So let's get into this, because I'm going to share with you how to do it in a second. But again, here's the irresistible secret weapon that allows all of my students, and you too, right now today, to massively increase sales for any expert practically overnight. This is what it is. Okay? Two things. They advise the expert on how to transform their knowledge into a high-end product if they don't already have one. Okay? We have a very simple strategy. I'm going to share it with you. How they can transform any author, any expert, into online digital information that people will want to purchase. It's very simple. It's as simple, by the way, as simply doing 3 webinars and charging $197 answering people's questions. That's the base level. Okay. They also show the expert how to sell those products using a template. That template, I'm yet to see it not work. Honestly, I've yet to see my template not work of selling, which I'm going to share with you in a second. And the beauty of all this, again, is that the expert's going to be doing 99% of the work. Your job is simply telling them what to do. Okay? So, I hope that sounds good so far. It's really very simple. Okay? How do you turn, let's say, our friend Ivan, he's now working with a guy in the diabetes niche who's got 500,000 buyers. And he's selling a digital product right now, I think it's at $37. And he hasn't got a clue how to build a product that he could sell for $197. How do you think Ivan is about to show his expert how to do that? Well, it's very simple. In some cases, they've already got a high product ready to go. But if not, here's the easiest way to do it. And I'll give the example, though, of Ivan, and then we can talk about Joe. Ivan said to his expert, let's do the following. What are the 3 things holding people with diabetes back from achieving, getting rid of their diabetes? To which the expert told Ivan, it's because of 1, their eating habits, or 2, it's their lack of fitness, 3, whatever the 3rd reason is. To which Ivan said to Mr. Expert, how about we create a product? And that product is going to be made up of 3 training webinars. And the way we're going to get your 500,000 people to want to buy this webinar is very simple. This webinar series is very simple. We're simply going to give them the opportunity to get close to you, to be able to achieve the goal that they've set themselves out for, which is to get rid of their diabetes. And what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to get you on a free webinar. You're going to provide some content, and then we're going to open up a special offer allowing a set number of people. In this case, he's going to allow 500 people in at $200, $197, are going to let them into a training program which is going to be made up of 3 live webinars, which, by the way, will be recorded, can be automated, and then he can sell that product all day long. That's a $197 to $297 product already built. Who does the training? The expert. Who has to fulfill? The expert. Who gave the advice? Our friend Ivan. Who's going to get the 50% plus? In this case, the expert's only going to take 33%. Who's going to take the rest? It won't be the expert. Okay? That's as simple as it gets. That's how you create a high-end product from scratch. That's how Joe Levy did it with Sarah. He got the marriage expert to give 3, in the end, I think it was 4 big hurdles that people are having in their marriages, things that are holding them back from having a happy marriage. And Sarah rattled off 3 to 4 webinars where she tried to solve each of the 3 or 4 issues. And again, they charge $197 for those 3 sessions. Sarah's followers gobbled that up all day long. But the thing is, Joe and Ivan, they didn't have to spend any time creating that product. The expert did. Joe didn't have to fulfill on that product and deal with the clients and all the questions. The expert did. He didn't actually even set foot on the webinar to introduce the expert. His secretary did. Sarah is actually very happy to be paid $1,000 for 4 hours of her time. Joe was happier to make over $9,000 from that one single webinar. Okay, so that's how you create a high-end program overnight if you have absolutely no imagination whatsoever. That's it. You get an author to deliver 3 or 4 webinars, each of an hour long, dealing with a topic in their industry. The webinar could be static. You don't even have to build or get them to build a PowerPoint. It'd be better, but you don't have to. It could just be a couple of slides with some questions perhaps that they would like you to ask, or have your secretary ask them. And then at the end of the hour, you just answer some questions from the audience. You do that for 3 or 4 sessions, information marketing. That's how you charge $197, $297. Heck, I know someone that has charged $3,000 for just pure information. Harlan, I mean, people will buy and spend money just for information. And this is the easiest product you could ever create.
Yeah, you know, I'm just keeping thinking even more because I like to be an overachiever of how much what's possible out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's it, guys. So if you don't know, if your expert doesn't have a product to sell at a high price point, you now have a product that you can get them to sell. It's simple. You just simply get them to deliver 3 to 4 one-hour webinars in front of a live audience, which obviously can be made up of their own list, which you're going to charge $197 to $497 for. This is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. You don't have to think about this. You don't need to be an imaginative marketer to do this. You simply give them this piece of advice. Guys, please give me the chat box the word I get it. The words I get it. If you understand now the easiest way I know to create high-end product which we're going to be able to sell to your expert list. Okay, let's see who's got this. I know Harlan points out there's a very sophisticated audience you've got here, and Kimberly Smith is saying, yes, I get it. This is amazing. Okay, Shannon says you're basically a well-paid advisor. You're more than that, Shannon. This is a business asset. When you join forces with these experts, you're not just an advisor picking up some tokens or some money. This is a business. You are allowing them to keep 10 to 50% of the assets of the business, but when you build this new list of buyers, it's not theirs. It's the joint teams, yours and the experts. They're getting their 10 to 50% share of it, but this is your business, right? We're not talking about doing someone a favor, and we're not talking about becoming some super advisor. It's true that you are just advising in the relationship, and they're doing all the work, but you are not an advisor in terms of the business. It's your business. Okay. And you can create content-filled webinars just like Joe did with Sarah, just like Ivan's doing with his expert in practically any niche. Charge a fortune for that content because experts that you're working with, they already have a following and know, like, and trust them. So it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible for you not to succeed. Let me introduce you to Robert. Now, I'm going to give you a crazy example from today. Robert is in binary options. Now, anyone that's in binary, it's almost impossible to create a relationship with people in binary because it's doomed to failure, right? I don't recommend anyone do binary, but Robert decided that he was going to do an information training. He wanted to build a product to his list, and he converted today. On today's webinar, he converted at 11% at $500. In fact, that's not true. It's 97 plus 400. It was $497. He converted to a small list that he's got of his own. He didn't work with an expert. He was working with his own list. He just followed our template, and that's what he created. Information. All right. So that's it. As I said, my students have sold digital products ranging from $197 to $3,000 in almost every niche imaginable. Anything that you want to do, you want to choose a market, go for it. Okay, so locating and closing a deal with an expert is very simple. I've got a message that my students use. They send them out to 10 experts. They wait for the experts to respond to them. Once the expert has responded to them, and by the way, there's normally 30 to 40% of experts respond to them. They then decide which one they want to work with. All right, once they got the expert, they know how to create a product. How do you sell that product? Well, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. I've got a webinar template that I've given to people that don't even speak English, and it works. And if you want me to give it to you in 30 seconds, the diabetes example, he brings his expert onto the webinar. There's a little introduction that I always recommend. The expert gives 30 minutes of content. You could talk gibberish for 30 minutes. And then there's a transition to a pitch that's already pre-templated. They just fill in the dots, and they've got a ready-made webinar that any expert can make to their list, and it's almost practically guaranteed to convert like crazy. So they've got a way now to make those high-end sales. They've got a product to sell, and that's how you can build an overnight business. Now, you probably know me. Some of you may know me. I know Hana knows me, that we've made millions on webinars. We've helped others do the same thing. But after years of running webinars, I've finally broken down the entire process into that dead simple template that almost anyone can follow to sell those high-ticket offers. I just gave it to you in about 30 seconds, how you could do this on a base level, and I gave you enough information. That's how you do it. The beauty of the webinar template is it's going to help the prospects of your expert to get to know, like, and trust that expert to the point that they're going to want to spend a lot of money with them. It works in practically every niche. I haven't seen a niche it hasn't worked in. And it really, really is the nearest thing I know to literally making cash on demand. You want to make money? Phone up your expert. Let's go and build a product together on a new topic. That's it. Okay? And I'm not going to waste too much time, but Mark is a good guy. He's a well-known sales expert, one of the very best out there. He very kindly called me, said that I've worked with a lot of marketers, and I have to say that I may be the best when it comes to webinars. But the truth is, I don't need these flamboyant testimonials from people that I've assisted in building webinars and helping them make money webinars. But what's much more exciting to me is the fact that we've got a template that anyone, regular people like Rinat, is able to take and convert into money. And Rinat was the very kind student of ours that brought us the example of Dr. Tsabari before. Rinat says that the strategy is the nearest thing he knows to printing money on demand. And I think he's absolutely correct. So this formula, you're working with an expert, you're using their list, you're using their expertise, and in some cases you're using their ready-made product. If not, they've just sent you or shared with you a solution to build a high-end product. This webinar formula will help you build a huge list of prospects, a massive list of new buyers, will allow you to make a ton of money. And the conversions I've seen have just been out the roof. Some of my students are going high ticket with their experts. Some of them are going slightly lower ticket, but the conversions are insane, where you can pick up 50 to 90% of the profits. And here's the real big thing here. By hanging around an expert, people will perceive you as a leader in that market. And this webinar formula and everything I've shared with you today, in fact, is so simple, it's so powerful that you could literally make a ton of mistakes with what I share with you and still score a home run. It really is almost practically foolproof. And by the way, just to let you know, I'm just going to be upfront about this. We take care of our students. We do not let our students fall by the wayside. Someone joins us and they're brought into our program. We sit with them and make sure they communicate with us. We help them. We help them close deals. We help them with their webinar to make sure that this really is a practically foolproof system. And I can just introduce you to one other of our members, one of our students. Phil was on a webinar just like you are right now. He'd never succeeded online, spent years trying, had no list, product, no marketing asset to his name. He used our template, sent out an email to a bunch of experts. They responded, and he chose the one that he wanted to work with. He's created a high-end product, and very kindly Phil said in some kind words, said, prior to joining, I never believed or ever considered partnering with world experts. Here's how easy as it was. He shared the process. I'm now putting together a campaign with an online vet, going 50-50. I've got some generous students here, Harlan, 50-50 with him. This could be a biggie as he's got a really engaging list. That took him all of about 45 minutes after our first training session to close that deal. So when you have a high-end product and a list to sell and a killer way to sell it, you literally have the keys to the kingdom of building a business that you want. Roger DeVoe had some kind things to say. Probably the best business opportunity there is right now. I've made my investment back from a small campaign. He got started. He's on to massive things right now following this strategy. But what really excites me is when people like Mark, who's never succeeded in his life with this type of stuff before, ever tells me that he's closed deals with New York best-selling authors. And again, we're talking about enticing people because authors want to make money. And you send out emails, and again, I just want to reiterate, you send out an email to 10 experts in one niche, you're probably going to get 3 to 4 responses. You can then check what their marketing assets are, like Harlan suggested earlier, and you will be in a position to choose who you want to work with. You have a problem closing a deal? We will help you close that deal. We'll get on the phone and do it for you or with you, because this is not a system that we want anything other than 100% success with. And again, I'm not going to bore you.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, Barry. First of all, number one, someone wanted to know whether this was a live webinar or automated. And it's live. If I send you guys to an automated webinar, I'll always let you know. I don't believe in that the other way. Number two is the number one thing that shocks me about this is that people, particularly authors, have no idea that there is any potential other than in writing a book. They don't know about it. And so if there's someone out there that you admire that is not actively marketing themselves, like I saw this person here, Mark, touch base with an online vet, these guys they will thank you for doing this. That's the number one thing I want to get across to you, is that when you reach out to these people, they will listen and they will thank you. And don't think that you're going to come to somebody and they're going to say, well, who are you and how dare you? It's not what's going to happen. You will get very, very few no's. And I'm just telling you, you don't get no's in this business.
Nope. You just get people that are busy and they don't respond, and those people get your message. You're going to get 30-40% people that will respond to your message. And again, the truth is, you will decide who you want to work with. Just think about that.
Well, if you want to build up that 30%, you could go on to LinkedIn and do something. If you find them on LinkedIn, there's something called InMessage, which you pay LinkedIn a little bit more a month, and you can send them an InMessage. If they do not respond to you, I think you could get like 5 InMessages a month. If they do not respond to you, LinkedIn doesn't charge you. So it only costs you if they respond to you. And that will take your 30% level and put it up to like a 60 or 70 or 80% level of response.
You know what, Harlan? I've yet to get a student come back to me and say, hey, I don't get any responses. Right? If you're sending out mail, you will get that response. You will get, but you're absolutely right. If there's a certain person you're chasing and you think, well, I'd love to work with this person, then if you want, you can go that extra degree. You don't have to. It's totally up to you. And that's the beauty of this. And guys, this is the idea of being able to take control of your business.
With LinkedIn, I get about a 90% response ratio.
Whoa, that's sensational. You know what? You give me an idea for a certain bonus which we can talk about in a few moments. Right there, that would be huge. That would be absolutely ridiculously huge. In any event, Darlene again says this is the first time she's been trying for years, tried everything and spent tens of thousands of dollars. I've never seen anything work. Within days, this thing was up and running and working with her. She had to deal with an expert. This is something that's changed her life. Now, just one final thing, guys, because I've only touched the surface. Okay, you close a deal with an expert, they've got a list. You can make sales and make money. In the next week, you should be making money with the system. But what if you want to absolutely, you start making money, but you want to scale this up in a very, very big way? Do you know how easy it is? It's so easy. Once you start making sales with your expert, you just say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Expert, how would you like to make some more money? Why? Do you know anyone else in the industry that might have a list? I could give an example of Ivan, who told his diabetes guy, and he said, yeah, I actually know, like, there's a guy, he's like the biggest affiliate, I think, on ClickBank in its history. I actually know someone. He sends me about 500 sales a day. Yeah, he told me that if ever I needed anything, I'd be happy to help you. And Ivan's like closed his eyes and dollar signs start to show up on his eyeballs. Can you imagine? The biggest marketer on ClickBank is about to become Ivan's super affiliate. This is insane. That's how you do it. You simply speak to your expert who knows people in their own industry and ask them to introduce those people in the industry that have got email lists, so you could promote, again, the same product that you created with the expert, or if they've already got a list, you can suggest that they connect you to other people in the industry that could become affiliates. And as Hanan said,
Barry, I'm just putting myself on mute. It's getting loud here, so I'll be on mute, but I'll be right back.
Okay, no worries. But guys, that's how you scale up a business. That's how you do it. And it's great, it's safe. You don't need to spend any money on that scaling up. You could massively, because everyone that drives leads, these affiliates, some of them could be humongous, drive leads into a webinar. You collect all those leads, they join your list, even if they don't purchase anything. So that's how you build a humongous prospect list. You're going to make a ton of sales because you've got a formula that works with webinars. You make a lot of money, you build a list, and you have yourself a massive marketing asset. And that's what happens. Experts will and do know other experts, and they will bring them into your formula, into your webinar. So it allows you to make more sales, build your list. You only pay when sales are generated, so there's no upfront costs, and it's a safe way for scaling up. And that's why I call this the silver platter formula. You choose the niche you want to work in. I recommend you send out 10 messages to experts on Amazon.com. Send out our templated email. That just doesn't fail to work. That should take you no more about 20 minutes to 30 minutes of work. You then decide, when you get responses, you will get 30 to 40% of people to respond to you. If they don't, you want to get to high percentages. Hanan suggested a way you could get it to 90%. But to be honest, I'm yet to see someone that said to me, oh, I need more help with that department. So you just decide who you want to work with based on their marketing assets. Remember, the bigger the marketing asset, the more potential money you can make with this formula. Close them. If you don't know how to close them, connect with our team. We'll help you close them, or I will personally help you close them. So that's another hour of your time. So we spent an hour and a half on this business so far. You then, once you close the deal, you educate your expert on how to transform their knowledge into a high-end product using our formula. That will take you about an hour of your time. So we've now taken 2.5 hours of your life away from you. And then you share with your expert how they should create the webinar, and you go ahead and then make them create it. You're going to do a bit of checking, making sure that they followed the template that we share with you, and you'll probably spend 2 hours in the process. So altogether, you're spending about 4.5 hours in this entire arrangement, and you'll be picking up 50 to 90% of the sales of whatever sales come in. So who else would swap 4.5 hours of time to land a crazy deal with an expert, generate a high-end product that sells like crazy, build a massive list in the process, and keep at least 50 to 90% of the profits for themselves, and that's not even touching on the opportunities, the incredible opportunities that you could use to scale up. Who would do that? Give me a big yes in the chat box if you absolutely would be willing to give up 4.5 hours of your life to transform your business. Who's willing to do it? I can see Kevin, Matt, Andy, Eddie's willing to do it. Bob's willing to do it. All right, everyone's willing to do it. Okay. Let me introduce you our iProfit Academy. This really is a very simple academy. It's a hand-holding academy, and it's a done-for-you academy. We've made this as simple as pie. What do I mean by done for you? Follow our templates to close deals. We give you the emails to send out. When they respond, we tell you how to respond. You then close a deal with them. You have a problem, reach out to me or a member of our team. We will get on the call with you to close them with you or for you. Follow our template and have your expert create a high-end, high-selling, high-converting product. Follow our template and create a sales webinar that converts. Everything is templated and done for you. You're going to get, as part of this process, and by the way, this is for those who want to go the extra mile and want to absolutely crush this. You can crush this already after session 2. But we have a lot more stuff in there as well, because I know we've got a lot of sophisticated people that join this program and are looking to build a ongoing 7-figure business, are not interested in just making significant money. They want to take this to the next level. So you're going to get 6 weeks of mastermind hand-holding training step by step. You get all the email templates to close deals. You get my 6-figure webinar template that you can use with practically any expert to make sales of the new product. We show you how to create products in 2 hours. You get ongoing hand-holding and support and live training. Plus, we got some massive bonuses as well that just make this a practically impossible to fail situation. You get a stunning website, experts webpage, where we position you as an expert. On our webpage, you are a webinar expert, so that you can show anyone and refer them to your page. That positions you as an expert. It's going to help you close even bigger and better deals. You get, for your first webinar, I will do my personal critique of your webinar. Now, that will not be available for long, because I obviously cannot commit to make those sort of critiques for everyone. But I can tell you it's available today. It is available today, but you are going to have to act fast. You're also going to get the only webinar system, this is software, that you will ever need. Plus, as I said, extremely limited mega bonus deal. What I'm going to throw in as well is that I will help you close your deal. I will help you close your deal. You send out the email, you get responses, you set up a time to talk, you contact my team. They will set up a time that we can all get together to meet with your expert and close the deal. And when I get on a call, I've yet to fail to close a door. To close a deal. And when I close a deal, I want to make sure that you get it at the best possible deal of all. And you'll just be positioned the whole way as an absolute ultimate expert. That's what I did with Ivan. And we helped him close a deal with a guy with 500,000 clients. So you're getting 6 weeks of mastermind training. I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about this business. I'm going to share how to close deals in week 1. I'm going to show you how to build a sales webinar out from scratch, be a fly on the wall, look over my shoulder as I build a webinar out from scratch. And by the way, I show you how to do it quick and fast, and I go into great detail. You can choose whether you want to just do it a flimsy one, which are still extremely successful, or if you want to go into more detail, the choice is yours. I show you how to build in week 3 the sales process. If you want to be more sophisticated, I'll show you how to build a whole funnel of different processes of sales. But if you want to keep it simple, just set it 1, 2, 3, 9, 7. You can do that already in week number 1. In week 4, I show you how to scale up. For those of you that aren't interested in just making $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a day, I show you how you can scale up and build a real 7-figure business. And I also show in weeks 5 and 6 how to automate the entire process as well. That is sophisticated training. But I can tell you, in week 1, you should be up and running with an expert, being able to get started, build a webinar from scratch and make significant sales. The rest of it is the cherry on top. You get access again to the templates to close deals, the template to create high-end products from scratch, and the template to create high-converting webinars from scratch. It simply could not be easier. It's practically foolproof. And we've got a whole bunch of bonuses, as I said. You're getting access to Easy Webinar, which is the world's best webinar automation system. Casey Zeman, very kindly. If you wanted to buy that today, it was $397. I think he's actually put the price up. way beyond that, you're getting access to easy webinar that's just thrown in. So if you need a system for actually running webinars, you've got it. Plus, there's extra bonus training sessions as well that I put on, how to sell high-end coaching if you want, how the easiest way to make sales from scratch. Plus, as I said, we're going to practically force you to be successful. We've got 20 seats available for this. My team will help you close your first deal. If you've got a big fish to close, you want me to help you, let me know. I'll be there. My team member will be there. My partner will be there. 100%. I've had 100% success with closing deals once I've been introduced to an expert who responded to one of our members through our template. But that's not just it. Also, I will personally critique your first webinar. If you want to build a more sophisticated webinar, you want to make sure it converts like crazy, send it to me. I will give you a full critique. Now, I normally charge $5,000 for that. So this is a $5,000 extra bonus. And also, I just want to be absolutely clear about this. You find an expert that interests me, and people reach out to me and say, hey, Barry, would you be willing to partner with me? The answer is, if it's interesting, of course I would. I've got an entire team that's waiting, that's sitting here waiting for these crazy deals that are coming in all the time. Literally all the time. We've got people that are bringing us all kinds of ideas. But my students, I only look at my students first. My students bring me a deal and they want to team up with me, and it makes sense for you and for us, of course. I'll be there. So that's an opportunity. If you wanted to team up with someone who's been there and done it, has got an entire marketing team to help you absolutely smash this, that's an extra additional bonus. Of course, this is not for everyone, but certainly if you've got an interesting prospect, we will be interested. John Tan teamed up with us. I just closed a deal with an equity investing niche with a list of 50,000 people. I helped him close the deal. We're building a product that's actually going live in 10 days' time. It's a $497 product. The experts list is expecting about 300 or 400 sales. So that should make a couple of $100,000, which wouldn't be a bad 2 hours of work. There's two options. You can join today for just $19.97, or if you prefer, 3 easy payments of just $747. It is, in my opinion, what I've seen, and I've been around for many years, and for people that I've spoken to in the marketing industry, there is nothing easier than this. I don't know anything that is easier than sending out a bunch of emails, because the rest is practically done for you. You get everything, the mastermind, you've got the webinar system in place, you've got your own expert website page on our Webinar Experts website. All the done for you to close. We're going to close deals with you if you need help. We're going to critique your first webinar if you want us to help you perfect it. There's JV opportunities to work with us. And I'm telling you, the people that join this program are the cream of the crop who I generally want to work with. I haven't turned anyone away yet that's wanted to joint venture with me. It's not yet happened because I'm bringing in people that I know are ready to take action and bring in some crazy good deals. This is the URL you need to go to, and May, if you can put this in the chat box. I do ask you, though, when you join, please put your name in the chat box, because we're going to be working together, and I want to get the personal relationship started right now. The URL you need to go to is getiprofit.com, getiprofit.com. And just to be clear, the personal critique and the additional massive bonus of